Long, long ago, under the ocean waves, there lived the king of the sea and his 5 mermaid daughters. All of the sisters had beautiful hair and lovely faces, but the youngest mermaid had another special gift. This little mermaid had a beautiful singing voice, which people would come from miles around to hear. All the people who lived and walked around on the land also fascinated the little mermaid. She often wondered how she could get up the surface of the water and live with them, as she thought it would be much more fun. One day, the little mermaid was swimming around near the surface of the water and watching ships go by. She loved to sing for the sailors, who would stretch out over the side of the boat to hear her. Suddenly, she saw a man tumble from the side of a huge ship, falling into the water with a mighty splash. His body floated slowly down into the dark depth of the water. She swam down after him, caught hold of the neck of his shirt, and dragged him to the shore. She watched quietly from the water as other people with legs like his found him lying there amongst the seaweed. She saw them pat him on the back until he coughed up lots of salt water. He was alive! A beautiful girl! She heard him cry faintly. She saved me! I know it! Where did she go? The people on the shore shushed him and told him to save his strength. The little mermaid swam away sadly. She wished that she could stay and tell him that it was her, but knew she wasn't supposed to talk to people with legs. The little mermaid had fallen in love with the young man's face and often thought of him. She knew of a sea witch that lived in the deepest, darkest part of the water. She decided to visit her to see if what she could do to get human legs. Maybe then she could find her young man. The witch said, "I can give you legs, but only if you trade me your beautiful voice." The little mermaid agreed. She didn't need her voice to find the young man, only legs. "There is one condition," said the sea witch. "If this man you love marries someone else, you will dissolve into the seawater and become foam on the waves. You can never have a tail or legs again." The little mermaid knew that if she could only find her young man, he would be sure to fall in love with her. So she agreed to that condition too. The witch made her a horrible potion to drink. As the little mermaid swallowed it, everything went dark. She opened her eyes and found herself lying on the beach with the very same young man looking down at her. "Where are you from?" he asked. "I am a prince who was saved by a girl in these waters. I've been looking up and down the sands to find her. Do you know her?" She couldn't believe her luck. The young man had found her, and he was a prince too. She opened her mouth to reply, but nothing came out. The witch had kept her part of the bargain and taken the little mermaid's voice away. The prince didn't mind that she couldn't speak. He thought she was very beautiful, so he took her up to his palace to dry off. The prince invited the little mermaid to stay for a while, and she could only nod vigorously. The little mermaid fell more deeply in love with the prince, and he liked her very much. However, he was saving his love until he found the beautiful girl that rescued him. He still hadn't realized it was the little mermaid, and she had no way to tell him. One day, the prince went to meet the daughter of another king. He was enchanted by her beauty and became convinced that this was the same girl who had rescued him. He asked the princess to marry him, and a grand wedding took place. The little mermaid was heartbroken. On the night of the wedding, she ran crying to the beach, waiting to be turned into sea foam. In the water, she saw 4 heads bobbing above the surface. Her sisters! One of them threw something onto the shore. "Little mermaid," she said, "this is a magic knife from the sea witch. We had to give her all our hair to get it from her. She said, if you get rid of the prince with it, then you can come back to us and be a mermaid again." The little mermaid took the magic knife and ran up to the castle, where the wedding had finished. Everyone was sleeping peacefully in their beds. She crept into the prince's room. As she looked down at him sleeping with his new wife, she knew she couldn't use the knife on him. How could she deny him a lifetime of happiness just so she could go back to the sea? It would be so selfish. She knew what the right thing to do was. She went back to the shoreline and waited silently for her fate. As the sun rose, the little mermaid felt a very strange feeling. Instead of dissolving into the sea, she felt herself rising into the air. She traveled high above the land, in amongst the clouds. "Where am I?" she wondered. "Little mermaid, you sacrificed your happiness for someone you loved," they said. "This is your reward. You can live as one of us, as a child of the air, in our beautiful happy kingdom." Finally, the little mermaid had got her just reward for her good soul. She lived happily amongst the fairies in the sky forevermore.